Hey, what's up guys? It's time for another wishlist video for Season 4. Joining me with this is Mir. What's going on, man?
Hey man, doing pretty well.
So I'm pretty excited for this one. We're talking about one of my favorite characters today, Alex. But you know, it's kind of strange because you know when me and Mir were discussing about some of the things that we changed, we were kind of modest on it, and it's not as big as a list as you would think for such a low tier character and for someone that, you know, like I said, I've been playing every single season now for a little bit. So yeah, kind of feels bad, man. But at the same time, another thing we should talk about here is that I'm fairly convinced that Capcom just doesn't want Alex to be top tier. And I don't mean that in like a negative way. I mean it like just like Capcom there's certain characters, specifically grapplers, that they just don't want to be too high up on the tier list, I would say. Would you agree, Mir?
Well, it's either that or they don't know what they're doing with the balancing, honestly.
That was harsh.
To be honest, there's some kind of backwards decisions that they've been, you know, implementing into the game since Season 1. You know, and Alex, I think, is a good example of a, you know, a character that wasn't even that good to begin with that got nerfed.
Right.
So,
right.
That's curious to say the least.
There's a couple of characters like that, like Ed too.
So you have to wonder. Yeah, you have to wonder. You know, they're doing this intentionally, or maybe they just didn't mean to actually nerf these characters.
Well, Alex is an extremely popular character too on the American side. Very, very popular character, way up there on the popularity poll. He was the very first DLC character too, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, like I said, back to the grapplers. Capcom not really wanting these kind of characters being super top tier. We saw the nerfs to Zangief when Zangief was really good in Season 2, and then even with Abigail was brought down a notch. You know, and then we have characters like Mika that we got nerfed a few times, and then there's characters like Laura who is getting nerfed, but we don't see her much in tournaments in general, at least on the North American side, right? So we're seeing a lot of hints here where Capcom just doesn't want grapplers to be top tier, and I kind of agree with it as well because, you know, it is as great it would be to see Alex in tournaments all the time. It could be annoying for the pro players, even for the viewers, to see like mindless vortexes all day. Because a lot of people get frustrated when see things like that, right? Especially with Mika or Laura, right? The robbery and the vortexes. I know Capcom is thinking about that all the time, right? So, like I said, Alex is just in that special place with that. But like you said, Mir, he wasn't very good to begin with, yet he's still being nerfed. So it's strange.
Yeah,
so, yeah, go ahead.
It's definitely interesting because Alex is different from other grapplers in the sense that instead of putting you into that vortex that we were just talking about, he's more of a character that resets to neutral after he's, you know, opened you up. Yeah. And then he can play, or at least he's supposed to play, his good neutral game, where, you know, he can outpoke you with his long limbs and then, you know, get in from there and start his offense again. But
it's funny you mentioned that. Because I'm like, I swear Alex was described by Capcom as a strong neutral grappler, right? He's not about giving you throw loops and stuff. And I went to go find the first blog post about him when he was first revealed on Capcom Unity that described him that way. And because I want to use it as a reference for this video, and they actually took down the page. It's gone, Mir. Like
so you're saying that they're coloring their tracks?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, they're on to people. They don't want people to know that's how he was supposed to be. It's insane, man. It actually says page not found. Ridiculous. Okay, well, let's rewind and talk about how they've been nerfing Alex ever since Season 1. So the first thing they did was nerf his neutral. They went after some really big key normals. I mean, almost all of his normals got nerfed. It's ridiculous. So, starting with his standing light punch, his little elbow, that was, of course, his best anti-air option, but it got hit by the universal nerfs. So, Alex lost his anti-air light punch. And then they went after his standing medium punch, his 6-framer. I think they nerfed what was the hitbox, the hurt box, pushback, and some other things, and then they went really after his crouching medium punch as well. You know, another decent speed, long range, crouching normal, and then all the other mediums. His standing medium kick got nerfed too, right?
Yeah, standing medium kick got nerfed, crouching medium kick got nerfed. They're all slower now.
Yeah.
Actually, crouching medium kick got nerfed to 10 frames and then reverted to 9 frames afterwards. Well,
Right.
not even reverted because it used to be 8 frames.
Yeah.
So then 10, and now 9. I mean, it's not even season 1 status.
Yeah.
It's just like somewhere in between.
So
Which is really awkward because
It is.
It's not like they're. It's not like it was too fast to begin with. Like 8 frames is relatively slow. I guess he has long glimpse, but still,
Right.
a little bit backwards.
But the point is, they completely butchered his neutral. You know, which this is strange, right? Because that's how he's supposed to be, a strong neutral grappler. So yeah, it really hurt him. And then the biggest thing too, like I said, was that light punch, because Alex does not have any anti-airs after that. Like it's so speaking of which, his EX air knee smash, that's the one where he flies up in the air and catches you, it brings you down. They butchered its Oki. So now after Alex does that, he's too far to really do anything. The only thing he could do is like standing medium punch if the opponent tries to jump or something, but they don't have to. He's not in throw range, for example. So completely butchered. That hurt him really bad because honestly that was his best Oki option, pretty much, in season 1, and even now that's gone. So he's got to use the regular knees now, and they're not even anti-airs, so you have to find ways to combo into him. And then his elbows. And I do agree with Capcom on this, because it was annoying for Alex to just constantly throw out like elbow, you know, all the time. But they made it really bad. You know, the distance was really short, right? And it just wasn't threatening anymore. And when you nerf this and his neutral and his anti-airs, it's like he needs something, you know?
Yeah, they nerfed the recovery on the slash elbows, and to compensate that later they made the light slash elbows -2.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hardly compensation for what he lost.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous because now, since Alex's neutral is so bad, he's gonna rely on like random EX stomps all the time, random EX headbutts, and he just has to play really, I don't know, scrubby and gimmicky. And you know, it gives Alex a bad rep in general.
It's not like he has movement speed either, so he cannot just walk around.
Right.
He's mostly a charge character. I mean, I guess he's a hybrid, but
yeah,
like all of his mobility moves are charge moves.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like forced to sit there for a lot of the match and just charging.
Yeah.
It's really not conducive to a very exciting gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. It's bad for both the player and the opponent. So, but yeah, so Capcom has been giving him some buffs throughout the seasons, but they're in really weird locations. So the first thing is they've been trying to up Alex's V-trigger conversions in general. So for example, his crouching heavy punch, that V-trigger cancel leads into, if it lands, he can do better juggles with that Superman punch, that flying elbow, whatever it's called, and that juggles up and you can go into knee from there. They tried to buff his standing hard kick where it forces stand, and that really helps, especially with his V-trigger 2, because you can do the DDT. And his crouching medium kick, now V-trigger into itself, same reason for the DDT, just help his V-trigger conversions. And then, I mean, Mirror, do you want to start talking about his forward hard punch?
Well, I mean, this move has been buffed, what, like 3 times already?
Maybe
4
4.
times? I don't know, like every patch something got buffed in this normal, so it's like plus a billion on a hit, plus a billion on block. It's like active for, I don't know, like the entire...
A billion frames.
Yeah, and they made it cancelable too in the latest patch. So,
yeah.
Like, basically, that's where, you know, like all this backwards decision making is gone. You know, like it's like, oh, we're gonna nerf everything else and just make 4 hard punch the best move in the game.
Yeah.
But if you're never in the range to use it because your neutral's so bad, so what's the point? Like, you just get this character that's very polarizing. You're either they're just forced to play this bad neutral game where you cannot really get in, or if you get in, you just have a chance and then you reset back to neutral, and it's like this, you know, upward slope again. Or you get, you know, a couple of good reads and, you know, your 4 hard punch hits and then you stun your opponent and it lights out. So it's that's like I don't know. It's really strange, for a character like we said that was supposed to play neutral to instead being so reliant on this normal.
Right. His forward hard punch is so stupid too, man. Like, it's so dumb now. But next season they're gonna make it reflect fireballs, and I don't know what they're doing. They gotta spread out these buffs a bit.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's good design. Like, you're just so reliant on this move, and then you get into these situations where your opponent's just blocking. You're doing like 4 hard punch 6 times in a row.
Which is legit. Oh man. And another thing they've been buffing is his EX power bomb now starts up in 5 frames, and that helps some of his tick setups and stuff. But once again, none of his power bombs gives Oki. It ends it right there. So yeah, man. Now let's talk about what we actually want Alex to get in the next season. Some things that would make him a better character. And like I said, we talked about this before, and we were quite modest on this. You guys, it's not going to be that crazy. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't want Alex to be top tier or whatever, but these changes will just make him viable and we see him more in tournaments and such, but not make him crazy. I would describe Alex, like I said, like Capcom first did, as a neutral-based grappler with high stun. So Alex is not supposed to get a grab on you and then you're stuck in this vortex like a lot of the other grapplers. It's more like Alex will whittle you down in neutral, right? Rack up that stun, and when you're really close to being stunned, he's going to close it out with a power bomb, for example, or a crush counter, and then it's lights out, because with his V skill, his crush counter combos are quite strong. They can really, especially when you're in the corner, it could be lights out.
Yeah.
So.
Especially since they don't scale for 2 hits, since hard hits are considered like a different, like they're just different properties.
Yeah, good point.
So yeah, like extra damage.
So I think the first thing that Capcom should do is just literally bring his neutral back to at least Season 1 caliber. That's one of the first things. So they need to buff all of his mediums attacks across the board. Get his standing medium punch back, crouching medium punch, standing medium kick, crouching medium kick. All 4 of these mediums need to be either sped up, more damage, better hitboxes, better recovery. I mean, it's not like these normals, besides standing medium punch, lead into anything anyways. Crouching medium punch, crouching medium kick, standing medium kick, none of these are cancelable. What's the big deal?
Yeah, they're just pokes.
Yeah, they're just pokes, right? And to whittle you down. They're
important for when you have V-trigger, but then again, you have V-trigger, so it should be like that, like all of your moves should get empowered by, you being in your V-trigger state, so like that's totally fine.
It's not like Alex can throw out a fireball and then V-trigger cancel that, It's just, it's normal.
Yeah, even if your crouching medium kick, say, was back to 8 frames, like it used to be, I mean, it's not even that fast. Like, there's certain characters that have sweeps that are faster than this. So, like, that just puts it in perspective, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely buff all of his mediums, and bring back that poking, gameplay.
Yep. And
it's totally gone now.
And now the second requested thing we want is, of course, to give him a very reliable anti-air. Bring his anti-air game back. This is once again targeting Alex's neutral. So there's a few ways to do this, right? Any of these is fine, but one, if Capcom wants you to use your crouching hard punch, they have to speed that thing up. It's way too slow. What is it right now? 10 frames?
Yeah, this 10 frames.
It's way too slow. They need to speed it up to like 8. At least 8. 7 would be perfect. But then we're going to run into some problems where, because Alex's forward hard punch, I think, is +7, right?
Yes.
And he'd be able to combo the cut. That'd be a problem. So one idea that Mir had was that they can make, since he has got 3 versions of his crouching hard punch, where you can hold down, back, or down, forward, or down. If you hold down, back, and press hard punch, maybe make that a 7-framer. Therefore, when you do your forward hard punch with Alex, if you do your down, back hard punch, it won't hit because it won't reach. So it's used exclusively as an anti-air. That's one idea, right? Or just make it 8 frames, and then we don't have to worry about the forward hard punch problem. Another thing that Capcom could do is just make his normal air knee smash an anti-air. Make it invincible to air attacks, and then that would give him good Oki afterwards as well, and a proper anti-air that's decent speed. I mean, because right now people have to use EX air knee smash every time, right? Yeah. And I don't see it being a big problem giving Alex Oki on these air knee smashes, because if Alex gets one Oki set up on you, right? When I say Oki, I mean he gets, you know, a 50-50 basically on the opponent. If Alex is successful, it ends, right? If he guesses they jump, he hits you with a medium punch chop, Oki ends. They don't. It's a quick rise or back rise. If he lands a power bomb, he can't dash it. So it ends either way. So it's not a big deal, right? Unless he goes for the stun, which is the character is designed around. And finally, the EX Air Knee Smash, you can give the Oki back on it. So Alex still has, you know, pretty crummy anti-airs, but if he has meter and he hits with the EX Air Knee Smash, he can snowball from there, because now his Oki is back to Season 1, where the opponent's back in that 50-50 situation. So any of these three things would be excellent if you combine it with bringing his medium normals, neutrals back to par, I think.
Yeah, and these are all good solutions for neutral, and you know, like trying to, like we said, restore this neutral-based playstyle. But you could also have it so that, you know, another buff that you could have for Alex is to give him a better situation after he lands a head crush.
Yeah.
Since a head crush is such a slow move, especially like non-EX, it's really strange how far away Alex is from the opponent, and he's only a +3, so it's not like he's able to combo anything after it. So if he's a little bit closer, then that could help him a lot, because right now, like, even, you know, a +3, your sweep, I'm pretty sure it cannot even catch people jumping out. So
yeah,
like,
you're way too far, man. Way too far.
Yeah, you're in a situation where like your heavies just are too slow to do anything. And your mediums are, you know, they're basically outside of the range where they can be threatening. So instead of being forced to guess and like do some really risky read with, you know, your knee smash or whatever to catch opponents jumping, just have him be a little bit closer so that you have a little bit more options, so you're a bit scarier. Especially, like I said, since head crush is such a slow move. And that'd be nice. That's pretty much all the changes we listed, guys, that we want. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but trust me, if you get Alex's neutral back, it will make him a good character without making him crazy. And I think that's fine. Right now, in terms of V-triggers, if you guys are wondering why we didn't mention about V-trigger, all the Alex pros pretty much prefer V-trigger 1. And the reason that is because he has terrible anti-airs, and they need to use his parry as a defense option. It really helps Alex. But if you give him proper anti-airs and a proper neutral, it really helps V-Trigger 2. Because V-Trigger 2 also helps his neutral, right? Gives him some good conversions. So I think overall this would help the character big time. And and for sure. While keeping him unique as well, right? As that type of grappler that's good in neutral and goes for that high stun power. And I mean... Well, like, the other thing is that when we talk about these wish lists and, you know, what we want changed for characters, you have to keep in mind that, you know, we're kind of like looking at this, you know, this is not in a vacuum, basically. We're thinking of a world where top tiers would also get nerfed, right? Brought, you know, back to reality, if you will. At the same time, low tiers get buffed. So, you know, you don't have to make Alex crazy, because he doesn't have to compete with top tiers that are as top tier as they are now, right? Yeah. Ideally, at least. Ideally, so that's what we're aiming for. Right. And like I said, if they keep buffing up that forward hard punch, man, I mean, Alex will be strong by next season. We'll have to see. I'll have a good laugh. It's the first thing I'll be checking in those notes, is that forward hard punch. Alright, let's close up shop here. Guys, let us know in the comments below what you guys think Alex needs in Season 4 to be more viable. Give us your opinions. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and of course, like the video. It really helps out. And we'll be back at it again with another wishlist video for you guys. So, Amir, thanks for joining me, man. And till next time, guys. Take care.